What if the thing your cat needs most from you had nothing to do with treats, toys, or how often you play with them? What if it's something so simple that your first reaction is going to be, "That can't be it"? And what if you've been missing it every single day, not because you're a bad owner, but because nobody ever told you it was even happening? And this is exactly where the uncomfortable part begins. Most cats spend their entire lives trying to communicate something specific to the one person they trust most. And most owners go years without ever fully understanding those messages, not because they don't care, because nobody ever told them what that message actually looks like. By the end of this video, that changes. And stay for number 4, because that's the one that hits people the hardest. Almost everyone who hears it tells us they had no idea they were doing it. 1. Stop holding eye contact when you're annoyed. You know the moment. Your cat has knocked something off the counter, scratched something they shouldn't have. You catch them right in the middle of it, and without thinking, you lock eyes with them. Hard, direct, unblinking. You think you're communicating disappointment. Your cat is having a completely different experience. In feline body language, a prolonged, hard stare is not a scolding. It's a threat signal. It's the exact look a cat gives another cat right before a confrontation. Your cat's nervous system doesn't read it as, "My owner is upset with me." It reads it as, "Something dangerous is about to happen." That frozen posture you sometimes see, body low, ears slightly back, eyes wide. That's not guilt, that's a stress response. That's your cat doing everything in their vocabulary to say, "Please don't escalate this. I am not a threat." Cats who experience frequent hard staring or confrontational corrections from their owner show measurably higher baseline stress and are less likely to approach that person voluntarily during calm moments. They're not afraid of you exactly, they've just learned they can never fully predict which version of you they're going to get. The solution is simple: break eye contact. Redirect with your voice or a gentle sound instead of a stare down. The cat you actually want, relaxed, affectionate, fully at ease around you, can't exist if part of them is always quietly checking whether your gaze is safe. 2. When they come to smell you, let them finish. This one sounds small, but it isn't. Your cat walks over while you're sitting still. They approach slowly. They sniff your hand. They press their nose briefly against your cheek or your knuckles. They're not asking for attention yet. They're gathering information, reading your scent, quietly assessing how you're doing. And most owners, right in that moment, immediately start petting them. It feels natural. It feels like affection. But in reality, from your cat's perspective, you just interrupted something they were right in the middle of doing. Cats read the people they're bonded to through scent in a way most owners never realize. Your body chemistry tells them things your face never could, whether you're stressed, unwell, or simply fine. That sniffing check-in is deliberate. It matters to them. When you immediately turn it into a petting session, you shift the moment. It becomes about your need to touch them instead of their need to read you. You can try this instead. The next time your cat starts a quiet sniff check, keep your hands still and let them finish completely. Only once they've settled, pressed against you, or simply walked away satisfied, should you respond. The shift you'll feel from them over time is real because you finally let them complete something that genuinely mattered to them. 3. Warn them before their world changes. Here's something we do to cats constantly that we'd never do to someone we loved. We change their entire world without warning. A new piece of furniture rearranged, a new pet arriving, or moving to a new home, a family member leaving, a period where your schedule shifts completely. To you, these changes come with context.
Time to mentally prepare, a sense of why it's happening. To your cat, it simply happens. One day the world is one shape, the next day it's another, and they have no framework to explain why, no way to know whether the shift is temporary or permanent. Research into feline stress responses has found that cats show significantly elevated cortisol during periods of sudden household disruption, and that the spike is far more severe when the change happens abruptly rather than gradually. You can't explain a move or a new pet to your cat in words, but you can change how you behave in the days around it. Keep their feeding times the same. Keep one familiar object, a blanket, a bed, in the same place even as everything else shifts. Give them access to a quiet, unchanged space during the transition. What you shouldn't do is what most owners do. Nothing, assuming the cat will simply adjust. Sometimes they do, but the cost of that adjustment, the hiding, the appetite changes, the weeks of elevated stress, is real, and it's invisible to the person who caused it. 4. Let them say no. This is the one. Your cat has a vocabulary, a real one. Not words, posture, tail position, ear angle, the speed of a blink, the stillness of a body. These signals are documented, consistent and meaningful, and within that vocabulary, your cat has a clear way of saying, "Not right now, I don't want this, please stop." The tail flick, the ears flattening slightly, the body going still instead of soft, the skin rippling along their back. These are not random, these are sentences, and most owners don't just miss them, they override them. The child who wants to pick the cat up while every part of their body says no, please, and the owner who says, it's fine, he loves it. The petting session where the cat's tail is already flicking in warning and the owner keeps going because the cat looks cute. The guest who reaches for the cat anyway, and the owner who says, sorry, he's shy, but doesn't actually step in. Every time this happens, your cat learns something. My signals don't work. And over time, a cat who has learned their signals don't work stops sending the gentle ones. They skip straight to the bite, the scratch, the hiss, not because they became aggressive, but because nothing softer ever got them heard. Cats given more control over when and how physical contact happens show measurably fewer stress behaviors and form stronger voluntary bonds with their owners than cats whose every interaction is decided entirely by the human. Less control from you, more trust from them. This is what your cat has been waiting for their entire life. Not for you to be perfect, for you to hear a no and actually honor it. Because a cat who trusts that their no will be respected never needs to escalate. They can communicate in the smallest, softest signal and know it will land. That's not a difficult cat. That's a cat who feels safe enough to tell you the truth. 5. Be the same person every day. Not perfect, just the same. Your cat doesn't need you to be endlessly affectionate or always available. What they need is to be able to predict you. Research into feline stress consistently shows that unpredictability in an owner, not harshness, not neglect, just simple inconsistency, is one of the strongest predictors of chronic anxiety in cats. An owner who's warm one day and irritable the next, who invites the cat onto the bed on weekends and shoos them off on weekdays, who reacts differently to the same behavior depending on their mood. To a cat, that unpredictability is exhausting because they can't map you. And if they can't map you, they can't fully relax around you, not in the way that lets them become the cat they actually are underneath the caution. The version of your cat you most want to see, loose, affectionate, unguarded, only shows up once their nervous system decides it's safe to stop monitoring you. And monitoring only stops when the person being watched has become predictable enough to trust completely. You don't need to be an extraordinary owner, you just need to be a consistent one. Closing. If this video gave you something, a new way of seeing your cat or a moment that made you stop and think, do one thing before you go. Drop a comment telling us which of the 5 you're going to change first, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Because the more you understand your cat, the better life gets for both of you. Every paw has a secret. Now you know 5 of them.